Just when you thought you could turn your back and walk away, the dark cloud of human indignity follows you. You have no choice but to turn and look it in the eye. It's the sex offender hit list.
Broward County Sheriff's Office deputies arrested Kauniki, a 22-year-old of Plantation, on Friday. I don't know why it doesn't give his first name. This article's kind of stupid. Doesn't give me much information at all to tell you guys other than the fact that he's a chomo. He's facing 10 counts of possession, control, or view of depiction of sexual conduct by a child, and a charge of knowingly compiling, entering into, or transmitting by use of computer child sexual abuse material. Detectives asked anyone with any information about this or other cases to call the Broward County Crime Stoppers. He could have gave us his first name. Illinois. A 19-year-old Tinley Park man was charged Thursday with possession of child sexual abuse material following an extensive investigation and a search of his former home. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children on June 23rd of last year provided information on Noah McGonigal to Tinley Park investigators assigned to the Cook County Internet Crimes Against Children's Task Force. This information prompted a thorough investigation by the Tinley Park Police Department that culminated in the search of McGonigal's former residence. McGonigal's cell phone was recovered in the search, and a forensics examination of it yielded files depicting child sexual abuse material of children younger than 13 years old. The Cook County State's Attorney's Office approved a Class II felony charge of possession of child sexual abuse material against McGonigal, and additional charges are pending as well. McGonigal here, McChomo, is being held at the Tinley Park Police Department pending his custody hearing at the Bridgeview Courthouse on Monday. We're going to head over to North Carolina. It's a pretty sickening story here, so you may want to throw up a little trigger warning. A Davidson County man faces charges after investigators found images and video of children performing sexual acts in his possession. This is Colby John May Cameron, a 19-year-old of Davidson County. He's been charged with 5 counts of third-degree sexual exploitation of a minor. According to the arrest warrants, Cameron had 2 images of an unknown juvenile girl engaging in sexual activity. And here's the pretty sick part here. 2 videos of an unknown juvenile girl engaging in sexual activity involving a dog. And 1 video of an unknown juvenile boy engaging in sexual activity with an adult woman. North Carolina law defines third-degree sexual exploitation of a minor as possession of material that contains a visual representation of a minor engaging in sexual activity. See ya, you sick chomo.
Yeah, my mother told me there'd be days like this.
Okay, I want to apologize ahead of time for the non-mugshot looking picture here. But the mugshot that was available for this news article, you couldn't even tell what he looked like, so I looked him up off a social media site. This is the only picture he has out there. We're headed over to Denham Springs, where this guy was arrested back in December of last year for possession of child sexual abuse material. And he received more charges after police found more victims that were identified in different states and countries. According to the Livingston Parish Sheriff's Office in Louisiana, their continued investigation led to 3 more charges of such possession on Damian Gilpin, after juvenile victims were identified in 2 other states, West Virginia and Nebraska, and 2 other countries, Australia and Canada. As a result, Gilpin was booked into the Livingston Parish Detention Center, and a bond hasn't been set for him yet. North Carolina. 61-year-old Damian Alexander Brzezinski was arrested Friday, May 3rd. According to the New Hanover County Sheriff's Office, Brzezinski was charged with indecent liberties with a child, as well as first-degree sexual offense. He was arrested in Carolina Beach, happens to be the location of Island Cardiology, where Brzezinski here worked, yes, formerly, as a cardiologist. In 2019, Brzezinski came under fire as he and Wilmington Health settled civil fraud claims that he performed unnecessary procedures and then billed Medicare and TRICARE in violation of program requirements and the False Claims Act. Brzezinski and the practice group then agreed to pay more than $244,000 to settle claims. But before operating his private practice, Brzezinski worked at Wilmington Health until 2016, according to the Island Cardiology website. Well, now he's just a chomo, and he remains in the New Hanover County Jail under a $1,500,000 bond. How lovely. On April 12th of this year, Detective Jason Edmonds of the Yancey County Sheriff's Office received a cyber tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, otherwise known as NCMEC. This tip, originating from NCMEC's cyber tip line, represents a critical component in the nation's fight against online exploitation of children. NCMEC staff review each tip and work to identify the potential locations for reported incidents, so that it may be made available to the appropriate law enforcement agencies for a thorough investigation. Well, following this protocol, Yancey County Sheriff's Office Detective Jason Edmonds, alongside agents from Homeland Security, executed a search warrant on May 2nd, just a couple days back, at a residence located in the south end of Yancey County. An on-site analysis of devices recovered from the residence there revealed multiple files depicting apparent child sexual abuse material. Subsequently, these devices were seized and handed over to Homeland Security for further analysis. And as a result, Dickie Wayne Hayes, a 63-year-old chomo, formerly of Charlotte, North Carolina, and currently residing in Burnsville, well, he was arrested and charged with 10 counts of felony third-degree sexual exploitation of a minor and 10 counts of felony second-degree sexual exploitation of a minor. This chomo is currently being held in the Yancey County Detention Center with a $200,000 secure bond. See ya, chomo.
Now get in there!
Well, this guy doesn't look like one, but he's a pastor. He was arrested after being accused of sexually abusing his two foster daughters. This is Jose Manuel Lozano, a 54-year-old, and he was booked into jail Thursday, April 25th, on a continuous sexual abuse of a minor charge. The San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department said this in a May 1st news release. After investigations, deputies said they believe the Hesperia man, a pastor at a local church, sexually abused his foster daughters, who were just 10 and 16 years old. The Zion Assembly Church of God International did not immediately respond, but a representative did tell the Los Angeles Times that the organization condemns Lozano's ungodliness and that he was removed from the office March 15th when the allegations came to light. Lozano is currently being held on $5 million bail, according to deputies. That's awesome. Deputies say they believe Lozano may have had additional victims. Well, yeah, I mean, look at him. The pastor and all, abusing his own foster kids. You know he does, and I hope they find out who and add more charges. See ya, chomo. A man police say sexually assaulted a 9-year-old girl faces a felony charge. It should be more than one. Jesus Perez Yepes, a 37-year-old, has been charged with 1 count of lewd conduct with a minor under the age of 16. Powell County detectives spoke with a father and mother at the Powell County Sheriff's Office about a reported sexual battery, according to an affidavit of probable cause. The couple said their 15-year-old daughter had recently opened up to them about sexual assaults that occurred when she was just 9 years old. The victim told them she remembered at least 3 instances in which this chomo, Perez Yepes, put his hands in her pants and attempted penetration. Powell County detectives conducted a follow-up interview with the parents of the victim 5 days later, and the victim's mother told the detective that she did not know Perez Yapez well, but she did have his address. During an interview, the victim said she knew of another neighborhood girl who had been touched similarly by this chomo, and after learning about the other girl, the victim said she text messages a hotline, hoping it would help her speak with her parents about what happened. It's a pretty smart young girl right there. Detectives then went and spoke with Perez Yapez with the assistance from the Blackfoot police detectives. And during the interview, Perez Yapez said he did recall neighborhood kids coming over to his house, but he couldn't remember their names or anything. As questions were directed towards the accusation of sexual assault, detectives noted in reports saying that Yapez suffered symptoms of an increased heart rate. He's pretty nervous. After first saying that he didn't touch the victim inappropriately, he then changed his mind and eventually said that he was just playing around when he touched her over her clothes. Asked if he had done anything similar with other children, Perez Yapez told the detectives that he didn't. While the details about his arrest are not provided in this affidavit, the court records do show that the charge was filed on April 24th. Perez Yapez is currently being held at the Powell County Jail on a $25,000 bond, and he's scheduled to appear in court for a preliminary hearing this coming Tuesday. In February of last year, the Millbrook Police Department arrested Douglas Sims Jr. for 3 counts of sexual abuse in the second degree. He was subsequently indicted by an Elmore County grand jury, and recently Sims pled guilty to 3 counts of sexual abuse in the second degree of a 13-year-old child. And Circuit Judge Joy Booth sentenced him to serve 10 years for each count, for those counts to run consecutively, for a total sentence of 30 years. And that will be served in the Alabama Department of Corrections. The sentence came as a result of the collaborative efforts of the dedicated work of the Millbrook officers, DHR workers, Butterfly Bridge Children's Advocacy Center, and the District Attorney's Office. One thing about these cases that a lot of people don't know is we have to give credit to the advocacy centers. Without them, these victims wouldn't be able to put their voice out there in order for the juries or the courts to even hear. So, just wanted to put that in there. See ya, Chomo.
I'm gonna give you solitary confinement for 99 years.
A Mayfield man was sentenced Friday to 100 years to life in state prison in connection with a 2021 Schenectady child rape case. This is 43-year-old Joshua Hodson of Mayfield, and he was handed the term by Judge Mark Caruso after Hodgson's conviction in January on a host of charges related to an ongoing criminal sexual relationship that he had with a 13-year-old child. The jury convicted him of a total of 20 felonies along with 3 misdemeanors in the case on a host of charges related to the child. In sentencing Hodgson, Judge Caruso called Hodgson a persistent menace to society and called his repeated crimes against the child horrific. The judge also heard from the victim's grandmother in court as she called Hodgson a predator and a monster. Her granddaughter remains in counseling due to him, and Hodgson himself also addressed the judge, but described himself as the victim and indicated he had no remorse. No wonder he got 100 years. Hodgson has been a longtime friend of the child's father, and the father had allowed Hodgson to move into a spare bedroom in an act of kindness to help Mr. Hodgson with a place to live and help get him a job. After moving in, though, Hodgson groomed the girl and then committed physical sexual assaults of the child while living there. It had come to light when Hodgson sent several threatening messages to the child and her father, demanding the return of a silver chain cross necklace that he had gifted to the girl. Hodgson, when interviewed by Schenectady Police Detective Timothy Rizzo, admitted having a relationship with the girl, but denied it was sexual. An analysis of his cell phone, however, revealed dozens of sexual images and videos of the child and hundreds of pages of inappropriate chat messages between him and the victim. 100 years, Chomo. See ya. Albuquerque, New Mexico. This purple looking Chomo right here, kind of matches the clouds. Too bad that lightning just didn't come right through the picture and zap him. But he was arrested by the New Mexico Department of Justice's Internet Crimes Against Children's Division for child sexual abuse material. This is Mario Troy Colangelo, a 53-year-old. He was arrested for possession and distribution of child sexual abuse material of children under the age of 13. During the investigation, it was discovered that Colangelo, a registered sex offender with a long criminal history, including 5 previous arrests for possession and or distributing child sexual abuse material, legally changed his name from Troy Shelby to Mario Colangelo after he moved from New Mexico from West Virginia. Moved to New Mexico from West Virginia. The article doesn't tell me how much bond he has or when his next court date is. But, hey, you gotta post them all. Hopefully, see ya, Chomo. Montgomery County, Texas. On Wednesday, Precinct 3 Constable Ryan Gable's detectives, assigned to Children's Safe Harbor, coordinated the arrest of a man for sexually abusing a child. Following an investigation, they arrested Marquette Shoemate for aggravated sexual assault of a child. The investigation stemmed from a report from the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services, alleging Shoemate was sexually assaulting a child. During the investigation, they found Shoemate is a pilot who frequently flies out of the United States. With assistance from multiple federal agencies, the Precinct 3 detectives learned that Shoemate was flying from Canada to Miami, Florida on May 1st. And upon Shoemate's arrival at the Opelika Executive Airport in Miami, federal authorities took Mr. Shoemate into custody and transported him to the Miami-Dade County Jail, and his bond was set at $100,000 out of Montgomery County.
I'd like to know what dirty stool pigeon squealed on me.
Now over to California. 62-year-old Rosario Valenzuela of Tulare was sentenced to life in state prison for child molestation on Wednesday. Valenzuela pleaded no contest. He pleaded no contest to 2 counts of lewd acts upon a child under the age of 14 back in March. He also admitted to the special allegation that he was a habitual sexual offender due to a similar conviction from 1998, and that his crimes involved substantial sexual conduct. Each count is a felony and is considered a strike offense. 3 strikes, you're out, buddy. One of the crimes happened between December 24th of 2013 and December 23rd of 2014 against a 13-year-old girl. The other crime happened between December 1st of 2014 and September 7th of 2016 against a different girl who was between the ages of 11 and 13 years old. Each of these sexual assault crimes happened in Tulare, where he was sentenced to life with no parole. See ya, Chomo. A mistrial was declared Tuesday in Winchester Circuit Court for 3 cases against Hilton M. Walker. The city man there accused of molesting 3 children over an 8-year period. Walker is alleged to have abused 3 girls between 2013 and 2021, according to a search warrant affidavit. The children, who are now teenagers, said most of the abuse took place between 2013 and 2017, but at least one incident occurred in 2021. One child told investigators that Walker raped her and forced her to perform oral sex on him, while another girl said the 58-year-old used a vibrator on her and performed oral sex on her. All 3 children told police that Walker showed them pornography and would masturbate in front of them. Walker was arrested on September 9th of 21 and has since been charged with 3 counts of taking indecent liberties with a child, 2 counts of rape, 2 counts of aggravated sexual battery, 1 count of sodomy, 1 count of using a sex object for penetration of a child, 1 count of using a sex object on a child, and 1 count of showing a child pornography. Tuesday was the second day of Walker's jury trial for the sodomy offense, as well as 1 of the rape counts and 1 of the aggravated sexual battery counts. After closing remarks from Winchester Commonwealth's attorney Keith Busby and Walker's lawyer Joseph Pricone, the jury left the courtroom to deliberate. When the jury returned after a period of time, they advised Judge Brian Madden that they couldn't reach a verdict on any of the 3 cases. Madden then ordered a mistrial according to court documents. However, Walker is not off the hook yet. After the jurors were dismissed, Madden ordered the cases to be continued to May 23rd, when Walker is set to be tried for all but 1 of the remaining charges. One of the indecent liberties counts was dropped by prosecutors Monday before the trial. The 3 victims told investigators in 2021 that Walker had committed a number of lewd acts against them. Police seized camcorders, computers, pornographic DVDs, phones, sex toys, a thumb drive, and VHS tapes when they searched his residence. And at a bond hearing back in February of 22, one of the victims, who was then 14, testified that she feared Walker might harm her or her family if he was released from jail. "He knows where my family lives and where to go to church," she told Busby. "He knows a lot about us." Walker is currently being held at the Northwestern Regional Adult Detention Center. After May 23rd, he is set to appear in Winchester Circuit Court again in June for the 3rd indecent liberties charge. What a creep.
Let me out of here! Let me out of here!
Happy birthday, dear Ellie.
Now, Ellie, remember, this is our special secret.
Okay, Uncle Jim.
1 in 5 children is sexually abused before they turn 18.
Make a wish, but remember, it's a secret.
Do you know the signs?
I just want everyone to go home.
Learn more about the risks of child sexual abuse at sapria.org.
When a child experiences trauma, they can be stripped of their ability to imagine. But imagination is colors. All the colors. Imagination is freedom. And whatever you want it to be. But a child without imagination is not a child at all. Will you help defend our right to imagine?